Hi Year 8, we're just going to pick up on a couple of things that cropped up on your quiz that I think you need a little bit more practice on, and they are types of correlation and then looking at interpolation and extrapolation. So remember that correlation means the relationship between two variables. So in the first case here we've got height and weight, and we can see that there's a positive correlation for that one, because as the height increases, the weight increases. Remember, they're both increasing together, so therefore that gives you your positive correlation. On the next one, we've got a negative correlation, and you can see that the sunshine is increasing as the rainfall is decreasing. So as one's going up, the other's going down. And then finally, we've got no correlation, where there's no link between the two variables at all. So height has no effect on the amount earned. So have a quick think about those, and then when you're ready, move on to the next slide. So this one is a set of 10 cards. You don't need to print them out. Just have a look at them and see if you can work out which would be positive, which would be negative, and which would have no correlation. Pause the video while you do this. Okay, so as we said, positive correlation, one goes up, the other goes up. So those four solutions should have matched. Then we've got negative correlation, as one goes up, the other goes down. And then for no correlation, no link between the two. So check your solutions, see if you've got the same. Next, we're going to look at a couple of exam questions. So this one, we've got 10 pupils took 2 examination papers in maths. Their marks are out of 50 were as follows. We've got paper 1 and paper 2. Don't forget whatever on the top of the table is put on your x-axis. So paper 1 goes on the x-axis. And then you just plot your points like before. So I think you'd be absolutely fine with part A. Part B says, what does the scatter graph tell you about the connection between the marks on paper 1 and paper 2? And we can see that we've got a positive correlation there. Okay, so the positive correlation, because one's going up, the other's going up. So both papers go up together. And if it's a positive correlation, you might like to say that that one's got a strong positive correlation. So don't forget, sometimes they're 2 marks. So you might need to say whether it's strong positive or a weak positive. So in this one, I would suggest it's probably a strong positive correlation. Question C, it asks you to draw the line of best fit. So looking at different ones, you're looking for the line that would go roughly right through the middle, which would be there. Again, it doesn't have to go through 0, 0. It can cross the axis wherever. Part D, Charlie was absent for paper 2. She scored 32 marks on paper 1. Use your scatter graph and your line of best fit to give her a fair mark for paper 2. So she scored 32 marks on paper 1. So you go down to paper 1, read off at 32, up, and then across until it hits that y-axis. So you can read off your mark for paper 2, which comes out as 34. Next one, question E. Peter missed paper 1. He scored 20 on paper 2. Estimate the mark he may have got on paper 1. So this time we're looking at the paper 2 mark. So we go on 20 on paper 2, read across, read down, and we get 11. Now then, this is the next little bit where a few of you are making a few mistakes. It says, which of your answers to D and E is more reliable? Explain your answer, including definitions for interpolation and extrapolation. Okay, 2 different meanings. The first one, we've got interpolation. In this section here, it says our estimates in this region are reliable as the data we have used has these boundaries. So estimates from this area are interpolated. So basically, in that area, in that box, are where all the points are. Okay, so anything that you read off there is what we call interpolated. It's using the data given. So we can see that when we're looking at paper 1 as 32 and it reads off as 34, that is within that region. Okay. Estimates outside that region are unreliable, as we don't know if that relationship would continue. We can guesstimate, we can say it might do using that line of best fit, but we don't necessarily know. So estimates outside this region are unreliable, as we don't know if the relationship continues to work, as we haven't any data from here. So estimates from this region are extrapolated. So if you look at Charlie's mark, which is the 32 up to the reading off at the 34 on paper 2, that one is interpolated because it's within the region of all the data given. So that is interpolated, so it's reliable. Whereas we look at Peter's mark, we can see that it's not within that range of data. So it's extrapolated, and so it's unreliable. Okay, so having looked at that one, we'll have another look at another similar one just to clarify, make sure we're all okay. So each week during the summer season, a seaside resort recorded the rainfall and the number of deck chair tickets sold. The results are shown in the table. Draw a scatter graph of the diagram, so straightforward, plot your points, and we can see that that one is going to give us a negative correlation. Again, it's fairly strong, so if it was a 2 marker, I would describe it as a strong negative correlation. And drawing the line of best fit, got some very dodgy ones there, we can see it comes out around there. And we can use that line of best fit to read off information. So question D, in the first week of June, only 250 deck chair tickets were sold. How much rain do you think the resort had that week? So looking at 250 deck chair tickets were sold, we can start off on the y-axis, read across, hit your line of best fit, and then read off down there. So it comes out as 24 millimeters of rain. Always be careful with your scales. And then for question E, in the second week of June, there was 5 millimeters of rain all week. Estimate the number of deck chair tickets sold that month. So this time we're looking at 5, reading up, reading across, and we get 570. So question F, how reliable are your estimates for D and E? Explain your answers. So again, the region where all the points are plotted is going to be accurate. Okay, so anything taken from there is what we call interpolation. So estimates are reliable in this region, interpolation. So 250 deck chairs equals 24 millimeters of rain is extrapolation because it's not within that region of data. So therefore the deck chair question is extrapolation and it's unreliable, whereas question E, where we're looking at the deck chairs, is within that region, and so we use interpolation and we can say it is reliable. Okay, so if it's within the region, interpolation. If it's outside the region with all the data points, then it's extrapolation and it's not so reliable.